Hi, good morning, and welcome to the February 7th, 2019 edition of the Bible Delight in the Details. We've been talking for the last week or so about the original part of the story of Joseph, told to us in the last chapters of Genesis. We've been talking about how the favoritism of the father, Jacob, led to a very awkward situation where these brothers, who were now men, really came to hate their younger brother, Joseph, who at the time of the story that I'm telling today was 17. Joseph didn't help the situation. He didn't have a lot of emotional intelligence at that time, being so blatant about the dreams that he was having, in which he was basically prophesying that he was going to rule over his brothers and even his father. Now, Joseph has been sent by his father to basically check on the older brothers, and they see him coming. And of course, while you may say, well, I can understand why they may have some ill will toward Joseph, the fact that instantly upon seeing him, they think of fratricide is inexcusable. It is just completely, obviously wrong and undeserved. Now, I want to focus, though, on one particular brother and how he reacted to this situation. His name was Reuben. Reuben was the oldest of the brothers, and I think that probably is the point here in this story. But Reuben, the Bible tells us, told them, no, let's not kill him, let's just throw him in a pit. Now, there were wells all over the desert area, some of which would dry up during certain periods of the year or had been completely just used up. Anyway, this appears to be one of those cisterns because we were told that it was no water in it. So Joseph has been thrown very unceremoniously down into this pit. The other brothers would have assumed that what Reuben meant to do was simply leave him there to die of thirst and hunger. And so they were thinking that still his intent was to have him die, but not to actually have the stab wound or the club or whatever themselves do it. But the effect would have been the same. But actually, the Bible tells us that Reuben actually had a plan. He was going to return later, get Joseph out of the cistern, and return him safely to his father. You know, how many times have we done a little wrong thinking that, oh, well, I'm preventing a greater wrong. Or I can do just this little bit of bad, and it's not a big deal. Well, you see, our best intentions sometimes go astray. When you start down the road of wrongdoing, when you start down the road of sin and giving in to peer pressure, as Reuben did here with his other brothers, you never know where that road is going to lead. You always find that you go a lot further and things get out of control. As a lawyer, I'm very familiar with something we have in Florida known as the felony murder rule. You may know about this as well. If you engage with other people to commit a felony, and during that felony, one of your co-conspirators actually kills somebody, even if you did not do it yourself, even if you had no intention of doing it, there was no plan of doing it, even if you're horrified that that happened, under the law, you are guilty of that as well. It is obviously a deterrent to try to get people not to use any kind of force in a crime because of fear that it could spiral out of control, as things so often do. How many times have you heard somebody, maybe even yourself, say about something that you've done wrong, well, it just happened. One thing led to another. It just got out of control. It just went too far. That was never my intention. That's what sin does. Sin has a way of just going a lot further, getting a lot deeper and more complicated than you ever had any idea. Reuben was the oldest, and so he would have felt and been raised on the responsibility of taking care of the family, because when his father died, according to culture, he would have become responsible for the entire family, for the welfare of the entire family. So he was really responsible for Joseph, and to kill him or allow him to be killed would have run counter to everything that Reuben had been taught was his destiny and his role for his life. It all went out of control when, as the men were sitting there coldly eating their food while Joseph was in that cistern nearby, the slavers came by. And then Reuben could not fulfill his plan of saving Joseph. Let this be a lesson to us all. Do not even start down the road of wrongdoing, for oftentimes you wind up going a lot further down that road than you ever had any intention. I'm J. Lenora Bressler. Visit me on the next edition of The Bible Delight in the Details. Have a great day.